I think right there is a good camera setup. All right, so we are live. Gonna have a workout again today. All right. So try to have the angle just right so you can see the bag, and I'm gonna have a pull-up bar here. Let me go ahead and grab my pull-up bar. Had my hand wraps hanging up there. Be right back. This is a pretty cool setup for the pull-up bar, if you ask me. You can take it off the wall, hang it up whenever you want. You know, it's also, as I showed yesterday, it's also a dip station, a leg raise station, depending on how you set it up on the wall. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, we will be doing a few random pull-ups throughout this workout, but it's like going to be random, short, easy, like 2 reps, then get back and hit on the bag. I was doing something like that yesterday to try to test out something, some guy's theory, something I watched on YouTube the other day where somebody was saying that some kind of study showed that you could get good results from not going to failure and doing it at a reps that isn't that hard for you because it's easier for your muscles to recover. Now, I don't know that I believe that's the way to do it, but I thought, you know what, I'll give it a shot and just see what it feels like and see what I think, you know? So, and then I can let you guys know what I think about it afterwards. Whoops. I grabbed my second hand wrap. I'm too close to it. I know I'm not doing the hand wrap completely correctly because if you saw a boxer do it, the hand would be open. I mentioned that yesterday. But, I mean, in all honesty, as long as it's on there and it's protecting your hands, it's fine, you know? And I'm using a soft bag. I don't even have to have hand wraps for it. I used to wear gloves for it. Don't have to have gloves for a bag like this. However, when I'm working out, I'm getting sweaty, and what I found is that it all works out better if I have something on my hands. Keeps it from slipping around so much. Okay. We'll get this workout started here in just a minute, folks. All right, well, that works for me. I need to get warmed up a little. I'm gonna twist a little bit first. Oh yeah, something I like to do here. Get my watch here, track my workout, try to get it to give me a good guess on how many calories it thinks I burned. I like doing that, and it is 10:18. Of course, that watch, that clock over there says 10:20. I think my clock's off. All right. I feel like hitting the bag. I'm still warming up, so I'm just gonna throw some low kicks. Keep them low at the moment, because I'm just trying to warm up. I don't have this strap down good. This is a pretty old pair of hand wraps too, so it might be time for some new ones. A couple pull-ups. All the way down. All the way. You might notice I'll lean a little bit towards this side, or that one. Yeah, I think I lean a little bit towards this side when I do my pull-ups. I have an issue with the shoulder, thinking about it. Because of that, part of my warm-up should be rehabilitating that shoulder, right? So, do some rotations for the shoulder. I can actually hear and feel stuff moving around in my shoulder when I do that. Going up. Y'all might could have heard that one. That click in my shoulder when I raise this up like that. These shoulder issues I've been dealing with for a while now, just with the right shoulder. So I should really start including this with every warm-up to try to see if you can fix it, because that's the one thing I've heard is really good for your shoulders, is external rotations. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that. I want to get a workout in. I'm going to do some leg swings, get my hamstrings loosened up, and then go up. The first few are going to be really low, right? This is a quick way to stretch those hamstrings out and get them ready. There's these leg swings, or swing kicks, as they called them many years ago in Taekwondo. They called these swing kicks. They're really just there just to stretch out your hamstrings in a very quick, ballistic manner. Instead of a static stretch to stretch out your hamstrings, this is a ballistic stretch that stretches out your hamstrings to get them ready for kicking. Go the other way. And if you've never done this and you go and try it, what you'll find is that, oh wow, I'm starting to kick higher and higher while you're throwing these, because you'll find the first one is going to be kind of low because you're stiff, but you keep throwing more of them and he starts going up high. Hack squat stretch. I don't know why it's called that, but that's what people call it. Try to open the hip flexors a little. Okay. All right, I think I'm gonna start hitting the bag. I'm not really all the way warmed up yet, but I think just hitting the bag is gonna be the way to get warm. I'm gonna start off a little slow. Pull the bag in some. Make sure it's in the camera. All right, I'm gonna take it slow at first. I'm gonna try to think about mistakes I'm making while I'm doing it and see if I can correct them in real time. You know, one of the reasons I sometimes wear gloves when I hit these bags is because when I'm punching these, even though, yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm hitting with my first two knuckles, but sometimes I still scrape a little and break the skin open on these ones, even though you're not hitting with those, but you're still touching. They're still touching, and sometimes I feel like I scrape it. So, but I like wearing the hand wraps more than the gloves because my fitness watch doesn't turn off with these. It'll turn off wearing the gloves. The gloves will touch buttons on it. Am I still in the camera? Yeah, the bag's starting to slide off. Let me bring it back in. I have it face the other way, but it blocks the pull-up bar, which is okay when I'm not doing pull-ups, I guess, right? We do follow along workouts on this channel, free fitness kickboxing workouts that you can do at home under the video section. I might make a workout soon for a follow along that includes the pull-up bars, because right now they're all just fitness kickboxing. But I might do one where you're doing fitness kickboxing and pull-ups like what I'm doing on this live perhaps. We're still kind of getting warmed up here. If you guys are just joining, we're still kind of in the warm-up. Trying to get everything flowing and loose. All right, I'm gonna roll this bag around. I think it might be a second before I hit the, well, hold on. Like I said, I'm randomly gonna bust out 2 pull-ups here and there, just 2, just here and there. Maybe during the warm-up's not a bad spot to put them, but I'm gonna be just hitting the bag for a second. So I'm gonna roll the bag around where it doesn't get knocked off screen so easily, okay? Because the angle of the camera, it'll stay in frame this way. You know, a couple different ways you can throw your lead leg kick, right? Some people do a switch kick, which now it's not technically a lead leg anymore, right? Switch kick, switch feet kick. And then some people, when they throw the kick, they step kick. Helps some people get power to do a step. And that's whether it's a lead kick or a back leg kick. But then the other way, when you're trying to avoid telegraph, I do it this way a lot, is you just pick up and kick. And you get your pivot when you're throwing the kick. You know this foot I'm standing on? When I throw the kick, it shifts that way. So to try to make less telegraph, you just pick up and kick. Also, for less telegraph, instead of leaning way back, even though it's easier to kick high when you lean way back, for less telegraph, you keep your body as still as possible when you throw the kick. They're less likely to see it coming in time to do anything about it. Still warming up here. Still warming up. We haven't been going long. Get these legs ready to go. Throw some kicks. Make sure you get those hips turned all the way over, whether you're doing it at the end of the kick or the beginning. Some people do it at the beginning. It might be the more common way, I'm not really sure, but they turn the hips at the very beginning and then kick. And then another one that I'm more used to is you turn them over at the end. You can pick up from whatever chamber when you're doing it this way, really. And then at the very end, twist the hips over. That's kind of what I've been doing mostly. This at the very end is usually when I flip my hips over. But I think either way is correct. It's just a different style. Oh, I got somebody in the comments. How you doing? You all right? How y'all doing? Welcome. Anybody new, if you hit that subscribe button, it helps me out. We're still trying to grow this channel. We don't even have 1,000 subs yet. We want that 1,000. 1,000 doesn't mean you're monetized though, because you also have to have 4,000 watch hours. So we're a long ways away from monetization. But we're going to do this regardless of monetization. This is something that I'm going to continue doing for many years, whether I get a single penny from it or not. Because this is fun to do and it's really good for me. And if the stuff I do here helps anybody, it's worth doing. Because I have free fitness kickboxing workouts on the channel. So they can help get people in shape. And get you more healthy, you know? That kick was a little low, wasn't it? You don't want to get kicked with a low kick. Up higher. I'm not aiming for the berries. I'm not aiming for the berries. No, I'm aiming for the solar flex. Okay. Let's roll this back. Maybe throw my hands back in a little bit. When I was going slower, still really trying to warm up with my hands, I was saying, I want to try to fix my mistakes while I'm doing it, which is easier to do when I'm slow. When I get into it and I'm going fast, I just like to let it fly. You're not always going to be able to correct your technique like that. So sometimes you got to slow it down. But you know, if you're just trying to get a good cardio burn, you don't got to worry about it as much, and you just blast and just go get your heart rate up to get your cardio burn. It's depending on what you're trying to do, right? Everybody has different goals, you know. Mine is both, right? I want to improve my technique, but I also want to get a cardio blast. Weak little jump at the end. Check on the chat here. I agree. Gregory. Catch my breath a second. It's hard to train hard to talk at the same time because it's hard to keep your breath level up. So, no, Gregory said it's definitely right. Just try to be more relaxed. Matter of fact, you don't ever have to tense up to go fast. You know, he is absolutely correct. You can go fast, relaxing. It's easier to move fast when your muscles are relaxed. You know, because they teach you to be completely relaxed until right before you make impact and then tighten everything. I even like having my fist open usually until right before I punch. My fist usually closes on the way, even though ideally everything all at once is probably what they want, but usually on the way out, my fist almost immediately closes. But you definitely wouldn't want to hit with your fist still open and hurt your fingers, right? But I'm usually like this until my strikes are thrown. Anybody out there think I should start doing the kickathon again? We used to do a 1,000 kickathon every Friday, where I kicked the bag 1,000 times, 500 with each leg every Friday. I didn't get a lot of views, so I quit doing it. I think people prefer this, where I do random strikes and talk the whole time. Common mistake for a side kick, you might have noticed I did it on the very first one at least, is you'll throw your side kick and then drop it. That's a mistake. You don't just drop it. What you're supposed to do, throw your side kick, pull it straight back the way it went out. When you do it properly, that's one of the reasons it is so hard to catch somebody's side kick, right? Even though you might hollow out so it doesn't kick you, and then you try to catch it, and it's really hard to do because it comes back if they're doing it correctly. It comes back in a straight line, straight away from you. If you're the one being kicked, when they pull it back and they do it right, it comes straight away from you. That's why you don't want to drop it. If you just drop, it's easier for them to grab your foot on the kick. So straight in, straight back for a side kick. Also, I wouldn't recommend anybody to ever think, I can catch a side kick and then just stand there and try to catch it on the way. If you're going to try to catch a side kick, at least hollow out. Move your body away. Don't think you can stop the force of a side kick and get kicked, because if he's kicking hard, you ain't going to stop it. You know, so hollow out and catch is the way to do it. Or slip off to the side and see if you can grab it before he pulls it back. So, but it's really hard to do if he does it correctly and pulls it straight back. I don't think anybody's ever caught my side kick in sparring, even though I'm sure some people could. What I've been caught on more likely is, more often, is throwing round kicks. So a round kick, I always felt like the round kick was the easiest one to catch, because you could, even though I wouldn't really recommend this either, especially if you're fighting a strong kicker, but you can eat a round kick and catch it. But I don't recommend that, because if it's really hard, you can really hurt yourself. So I don't recommend that. I think even on that, it's better to avoid being hit with it and then try to catch it maybe on the way out, or if you can stuff it and then grab the leg. But you know, whatever. I need to get back to my workout. That little combo there, I was saying, I think yesterday or the day before, I don't necessarily think you would land any more than one or maybe two of these, but it's fun to do on the bag. Doing jab, elbow, and on the way back, throw a back fist, and then a jab. Jab, elbow, back fist, jab. It's fun to do. I scraped my elbow up a little bit though, doing it the other day, and doing it again is open it up. So I'm not gonna do too much elbows with this arm today. I might still throw some with this arm, because you gotta watch out throwing elbows in the bag. You easily get bag burn if you scrape through. So doing an elbow in a bag, you want to try to plant into it and have as little scrape as possible. And so, and into the bag instead of scraping, which I clearly did at one point or another with this arm the day before yesterday, because it's open again. Right now I'm just trying to move around while I'm throwing the punches, trying to move my head around, trying to think about maybe he's trying to hit me while I hit him. But you don't ever want to mess up and move towards his strike. Just give him some extra power, you know? If you haven't noticed, I like straight punches. People complain about that sometimes. Well, you don't throw enough hooks. Yeah, you're right, I don't. But I like my straight punches because they're fast, they're quick, I can throw out a lot of them, and it's easy for me to convert into a kick. But still, I can throw some hooks. Yeah, there's actually some hook strike techniques that I wanted to work on. Something Gabriel Varga was talking about, if y'all know who he is. One of his videos he was talking about, for your hook, do like a shoulder shrug on the way to help lift your hook up. I haven't tried that out on the bag yet, I've shadow boxed it in VR boxing, but not on the bag yet. And VR boxing is not the same as hitting the bag, because when you're not, shadow boxing is not the same, because if you're not actually landing on anything, you don't actually know what it's going to feel like to hit it. So what I noticed right away with what Gabriel Vargas was talking about, trying to do the shoulder shrug, trying to get your shoulder up really high. What I noticed right away is the hand positioning to make it feel comfortable to me. People throw hooks in two different ways. Some people throw thumb up, some people throw thumb down. And what I noticed right away, doing it Gabriel Vargas way, when I try to get my shoulder way up for the shoulder shrug, is that it feels more comfortable with my thumb down than trying to do it with my thumb up. I almost even can't do it with my thumb up. I have to have my thumb down to do it his way. I'm not sure which way he does it with his thumb. But you know, I've heard some people say, whether you do it thumb up or thumb down, depends on how far away you are from it. If you're really close, they say thumb up. The farther away, the more down you turn it. And if you're really far away, you might even do it upside down. Because the whole thing you're trying to do is make sure you hit with the first two knuckles. And so I've heard people explain that when you got to reach way out, you may actually need to turn your hand all the way upside down. I recommend anytime you're hitting the bag, don't go full power at first until you know the way you're punching it is supported and you're not going to tweak anything, okay? Like you don't want to punch and then find out that, oh, my wrist was crooked. That's going to hurt your wrist. You want everything in line, supported, right? Any of you guys that train, I'm sure you already know that. I would imagine. I like practicing like a little slip sometimes because I feel like it sets up your hook anyway. So sometimes if I am, I'm going to try to slow down my speech. I talk too fast sometimes. Sometimes if I am trying to throw a hook, I like doing it off of a slip because you're already loading up your hook. So I like doing a slip and then throwing it. This side. Yeah, so different variations of that. That's interesting. Because with the thumb up, my elbow is also down, I notice. With thumb down, my elbow comes up. It does feel more supported. But with the thumb up, I almost feel like I want to turn it into more of a straight punch coming at an angle. Which does feel good. I feel like I can do that with less tweaking my wrist than this. I think everybody's a little different. Because with this, I'm afraid to hit it full power. But with this, I'm not. Other than the possibility of scraping down here where I'm not supposed to be hitting. I haven't checked the chat in a second. Y'all doing all right? Oh yeah, I know. My hooks aren't my best. It's part of why I'm working on them there. I like straight punches usually. And kicks. Definitely a kick guy. Ha! Ha! Sometimes when I start going too fast, I don't always get my hip over like I'm supposed to. I've noticed that too. It's like I'm in too much of a hurry to get the next punch out. I'll tell you one great thing about recording yourself is you go back and watch it later. You can see your mistakes and work on it. Trust me. If you go back to the very first videos I did on this channel and compare them to the videos I do now, it's like, whoa, that dude improved quite a bit. Because in the very beginning, I was doing this kind of stuff. when I throw my punches. I had to teach myself, don't drop before you throw. It's an old bad habit from Taekwondo because they teach you how to punch like this. Huh, huh, huh. Not good. Up here. Ta-ta. 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 Ha. Ta-ta. Ha. Ta-ta. Ha. Ha. That front kick was too low. Didn't I say I was going to randomly do pull-ups? Move the bag to this side so I can mix those in. I did say I was going to do that and only did it in the warm-up. Feel more like hitting the bag. But I said I was randomly going to do 2 pull-ups, go back to the bag, 2 pull-ups, go back to the bag, just to test that theory that guy was talking about. Can I get sore from doing it that way? Can I increase the amount of pull-ups I can do from doing it that way? Or do you actually have to go to failure? I think you actually need to be going to failure. But I'm going to test that guy's theory just to see. I'm going to keep it easy. I'm going to hit the back. Ha! 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 Anybody new here, if you do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Woo! Yeah, how about some fun ones? A little close. A little far away. Went too much that way. All right, enough of that. I don't want to get too dizzy. Ha! Try to come over here every now and then. Check the chat, see what you're doing. Oh yeah, Mr. Sam, yeah. I actually think that taking just a boxing only class would do awesome for me. And the place that there's a martial arts school I go to, a judo jiu-jitsu place that also has everything else. And I usually just do their fitness kickboxing there, but they also have just boxing, just Muay Thai, judo, jiu-jitsu, MMA. They got everything at that place. And it's crossed my mind before, I might want to take their boxing class. Because I have been, since I started this channel, one of the biggest things I've been trying to fix is my hands. Because I started off this channel having those Taekwondo hands. You know what I mean? Too low. Too low, dropping when you're punching, right? Pulling back too far on the other side, loading up too much. Those bad habits that your hands get from traditional martial arts. I've been fighting to fix many years of the bad habits of the hands. Now, I will say though, they aren't as bad as some people would think, because even in the traditional martial arts, they do go spar. And when you spar, that's when you learn. You gotta try to block, keep your hands up. But even then, you know, you still get the bad habit. So even in sparring, you know, the traditional martial arts, a lot of times that's when you manage to hit your opponent because he is dropping his hands. And you may be doing it too. And y'all are tagging each other a lot because of it. So, but some of them get really good at blocking. And of course, the ones that are best at blocking are usually the ones that have worked on their boxing a little bit, right? Cross training is the way to go, if you ask me. If you want to learn more than one thing, I think it'd be fun for me to take a boxing class. I think 90 days of just straight up boxing would do wonders for my hands. Not to mention for my head movement, because I taught myself head movement. They didn't teach us that in traditional martial arts. They didn't teach me head movement, right? They taught me traditional martial arts. Let's get away from the strikes. They taught me side steps, right? They taught me side step and round step. They'll probably call it something else in boxing. But in Taekwondo, at least the old school Taekwondo, they called this a side step and this a round step. And I'll often use them together, side step, round step, and then lash out and kick. And it would work great, especially if this guy was coming at me with a side kick, coming through, I would round step, he'd go past me, and I'd kick him on the back of the head. And that works a lot. Same thing in this direction. Maybe I needed to go that way instead of this way. I'd do the side step and then round step just a little bit to get to the angle I needed where I could throw my kick. But slipping and rolling, taught myself 100% just from watching other people do it. One of the drills that helped me with slipping, I saw somebody that said the way you learn how to slip is bend down, touch that knee, bend down, touch that knee, touch that knee, touch that knee, like that. And then when you're ready, remove the touch and just continue to slip. But I've gotten to where I do it a little bit less because you only need to move that much, right? This much, the size of your head. That's all that has to move. And so you move just a little bit. And the roll, try to make a U shape, right? But yeah, the slipping I just taught myself. So, now, when you were a kid in Taekwondo class, your favorite kick was the flying side kick. It's not my favorite kick at all. And maybe one of the most, well, I don't know, it might be useful. I feel like it's almost useless because when are you ever going to get to use this kick, right? But flying side kick, that's a terrible flying side kick. I need to stiffen up my foot. Flying side kick when you're a kid was so much fun because it's a jump kick. Then when you're grown, you're like, oh yeah, what's the point in that? It's actually better jump kicks. I think are more kicks when you're standing still. You know, I think it's more fun and better exercise when you're standing still and you jump up and throw a round kick. That's some good exercise. And to throw your jump kick, the non-kicking foot, you want to tuck it up, all right? If any of you guys want to practice jump kicks, if you got a base good enough in martial arts, you can try the jump kicks. Or if you're already doing jump kicks, but you're having trouble with hang time, the trick is the foot that's not kicking, you're supposed to tuck it upwards. See, watch the non-kicking foot. This is a non-kicking leg. You tuck it upwards, gives you extra hang time. Let me come over here to the chat. Oh, yes, Sam. That's correct. Definitely agree. Hey, how's it doing? All right. We're doing exercise on the bag. Martial arts training with a fitness emphasis. That's what we're doing. So on this channel, I have free fitness kickboxing workouts that you can do at home under the video section on the main page. And I do lives like this where I just do my own training. I hit the bag, I work on techniques, I try to get exercise, and I talk to you guys. Let me check the time here. Okay, it's only 10:50 a.m. I can still keep going. I gotta check the time because I do have things to do today, so I can't just go for hours, you know? But maybe one day I'll do an extra long one. I'm thinking about doing a video soon where I try to see how long it'll take me to do 2,000 kicks in the bag. Because I used to do 1,000 kicks every Friday. It didn't really get many views, so I quit doing it. I had to quit doing that and went back to doing it more like this. The 1,000 kicks, I could do that within an hour. And I'm thinking, well, what if I threw only round kicks? Because round kicks, you can knock them out the fastest. So what if I did only round kicks? How long would it take me to pull off 2,000 kicks? So if any of you think I should do that and would want to watch that, type 1 in the comments. I've noticed something with the kicks too. Something you might find if you throw kicks a lot, when you get your hips over, it's easier to get your hips turned over when you're not throwing a head kick. Because I notice it doesn't feel like it's turning over as much on the high kick. It might be, but because you're stretched out so much, I'm not sure. And some of you saying, I don't see it, because you're looking for it in the beginning. When with me, the way I've always done it, I usually do it at the end. Because I said this earlier in the video, but not everybody was here. Because one way you'll see people do it is they throw their hips first, and that's correct also. And then launch the legs. And the way I'm used to doing it is I'll throw my leg first and I turn the hip over at the last second. It's usually what I do. See that? Because that's where my hip turn is usually at the last second for me. But I think that's because when way long time ago, when I got my Taekwondo black belt back in the old school traditional Taekwondo, they tried to start teaching us not to telegraph our kicks. So they didn't want us stepping and stuff. They wanted us to keep our foot still, our standing foot. They wanted it to stay still when we started our kick. So we were supposed to pivot during the kick. And so I think because of that, that's why I turn my hip over at the end instead of the beginning. You know, because I think most people today, you'll see them do it. You see them step and then turn their hip. And I'm used to turning it at the end. And I've tried it the other way. And I feel like my power is about the same regardless of which one I do. So like I feel like, I don't think either one of those is necessarily maximum power, but they were both the same amount of effort. And the bag got hit about the same impact, I feel like, about the same impact level. So I don't think it really makes a difference whether you turn your hips at the beginning or the end, as long as you're turning the hips before or at the same time as making contact, right? And like the way I was trained is they wanted everything at the very last second, right? Was their time. At the very last second, turn your hand over, right? At the very last second, turn everything into it, you know? So, which is different than the other ones you see where it's lead with it and then go. They taught us to do it all at the very last second. So, and that was, I believe, partially to avoid telegraph, but I think also it was just somebody's theory at one point 100 years ago or something to add power. They thought if you did it all at once, maybe it would add more. I feel like both versions have the same amount of power. That's just my personal thought. Let me come back to the chat. All right, just checking. Hey, once again, if you're new, hit subscribe. You can see more of this, okay? And don't forget, there's follow-along workouts in the video section. If you want to get in shape and get fit from the comfort of your own home, go do some of my workout videos. They're a lot of fun, and you can modify it and adjust it to whatever difficulty you need. They're not like this where I'm sitting here yapping the whole time. Yeah, I talk in it, I explain what we're doing, but it's what you'd expect out of a workout video that you paid money for, only mine's free, right? It's do this move, and then we do it, right? So, put my hand in the face. Sometimes you just put the hand in the face, right? It's like a jab, except hand in the face. It's almost like you're just trying to make it where they can't see. You're frustrating them. Of course, even then, you don't want to do what I did and bring it back to here, right? Because then you get popped in the jaw. So even if you're doing that, you still want to do it as if you're actually hitting at them, even though I'm just touching. Ooh, nice leg kick, huh? Just sit down on it. Sit down on them leg kicks. I'm gonna go about middle. You know, I feel like too when I'm just going, I'm starting to mix up the two different styles of the round kick. The one where I turn my hip over at the end and the one where you do it at the beginning. I feel like I mix it up a little bit because I have gotten to where I'll worry less about not taking the step. You know, because back in the day, I never took a step. But now sometimes I take the steps because I watch professionals get hit with these kicks and their opponent took the step. They didn't see it coming, so I'm like, well, maybe it's not as big of a deal. Might not be as big of a deal. But then again, the professionals, they're in the heat of a fight. And when you're sparring, it's not the same as when somebody's trying to knock you out. So maybe when their adrenaline's not pumping, they might be more likely to see the telegraph than they do in the heat of a fight. I'm not sure. It might be more about taking to stop somebody sparring. I want to try to get that kick faster. I want my kicks to go faster. I want those Bruce Lee kicks. Doesn't everybody? Everybody wants those. Not anybody has them. Not really. that guy was an oddity. But he also like barely weighed anything and was made out of solid muscle. So it makes sense he could go so fast. I'm almost 200 pounds. So it takes me some effort to get it fast. Fun one. Too close. Sprawl. Jump kick. Push kick. Boom. Ha. 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 I hope everybody subscribed to the channel. We are a small channel trying to grow. You want to see some old school Taekwondo strikes? Like traditional martial arts, like for no reason, that you would never really use, like a chop, spinning knife hand, right? I missed though, I hit my forearm, but to be honest with you, I think I'd rather hit my forearm than with the hand, even though on spinning knife hand you're supposed to, right? But still, forearm is stronger. Okay, sink a sick elbow in there, huh? But yeah, some random old school Taekwondo with ridge hand, right? It's like instead of throwing a hook, throwing a ridge hand. Even on the ridge hand, just like I said before, even though you're supposed to land with a hand, I think I'd rather hit with the forearm. Make it more like a clothesline, you know? Old school pro wrestling clothesline. I think probably makes more sense than a ridge hand if you're gonna do that strike. Because I noticed too, I do feel like I can hit harder with those than hooks, but I think that's just because traditional martial arts, they didn't have us throw hooks. They had us throw ridge hands. So I was used to throwing this out. This thing. Instead of my hook punch. My hook punch needs a lot of work in my opinion. That's why I was telling somebody in the chat earlier that I think it would be a great idea for me to go take like 90 days of boxing classes and come back and fix my hook punch and improve my other stuff with my hands. It'd be great. Coming from traditional martial arts, I'm better at kicking than anything else. But I've been working on my hands, trying to improve them all year. Ha! I think that oblique kick they might make illegal one day in MMA. This kick here, because you're kicking somebody's knee out. John Jones uses it a lot, and you can really hurt somebody with that. If their leg happens to be straight when you hit them, game over. I kind of feel like it should be illegal. Let's see. Well, I burned almost 500 calories, and I've been talking half this time. So that's not too bad for somebody who's been yapping and running his mouth too much. Hey, friend, I only speak English, so I don't know what you're saying there in Spanish. See how many people we got watching. There's 52 of you here at the moment. So hit that subscribe button. It helps me do a random knee. That's a funky looking knee strike. I'm trying to throw I'm getting sweaty, so it's kind of slipping. I'm trying to throw a knee the way you throw a round kick. So instead of coming straight up, I'm coming up to the side, kind of like a round kick, but with your knee. There's more than one way to throw a knee, so that's one of them. Is you come up to the side, but not so much trying to turn sideways like you would with a round kick. I mean, you might could. That feels funny. Let me try. Yeah, you might could, but I wouldn't. But you can come from that angle though, right? And just come and bring your knee across so that maybe you can get your hips into the knee strike. hands in their face, whatever you gotta do. Throw jabs, crosses, elbow strikes when you're really close range. You know, you're really close range. It's 11:04 where I'm at. All right, folks. Let's do a couple more pull-ups. I'm gonna do a different grip this time. Do this under grip. Like I said earlier, I was testing the theory out, so I'm not doing many at a time, just a little bit here and there. I did more of them yesterday. Today I kept forgetting about it because I wanted to just hit the bag, right? So, and I was gonna tell people from yesterday, if they came back today, I let them know if doing that yesterday did anything to make me sore at all. And so the only thing that I noticed so far, and maybe I just didn't do enough total reps, the only thing I noticed is a little bit of soreness in the forearm muscles, you know, leading up to where your grip would be. That's the only thing I've really noticed from doing those pull-ups yesterday. But also, I think I only did around 40 pull-ups yesterday. But I did them the easy way because I was testing that theory from the video I watched, where I'll do it where I'm nowhere near failure. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do 2 pull-ups, hit the bag, 2 pull-ups, hit the bag, and did a lot of that until I'd done, I think 40 pull-ups at the end. You know, not nothing crazy, you know. I should do one soon where I try to do a really large amount. But trying to test that theory that guy had, it was hard to get the reps much higher than that if I'm doing that and hitting the bag back and forth, you know, because you only got so much time. All right, I'm gonna just bounce around a little bit here. I appreciate everybody for joining me. I'm gonna come a little bit closer to the camera, huh? You can see me a little bit better. There we go, I'm bouncing around. I appreciate everybody joining me, having fun hitting this bag, trying to get a good workout in. I encourage you all to go check out my workout videos on the main channel. Well, this is the main channel, but I mean, go to the channel, look at the video section, pick a workout you want. You can choose it by workout length or just what looks good to you. And try a workout, do a workout with me. Do a follow along workout in the video section. Leave me a comment on one of those. Let me know you came from a live. That'd be interesting to see, because I'm not sure if I'm getting anybody from the lives doing the fitness videos. But it's free fitness kickboxing. You can do yourself at home. So here pretty soon, I'm probably gonna make a video, a follow along format where we're using the pull-up bar also. I think that would be a good idea. I think that would be very beneficial. You know, I think it'd be kind of cool if I could make myself kind of like the Tony Horton of fitness kickboxing. If you guys know who that guy is from 20 years ago, I guess. So yeah, it'd be pretty cool. You know, I'd like to make a program that could get people ripped by hitting the bag, doing pull-ups, burpees, all those kind of things. You know, it'd be great. So hit the subscribe button for me, please, and check out the follow along workouts. All right. I'm gonna call this one and chill out, because I do have some things to do today, and it is about time for me to chill out. So a little bit of a cool down, a little bit of stretch. I'll come closer. Right. I'm not hitting the bag right now. Might as well be up close. How about an up close kick, huh? The end of my videos, sometimes I'm like, keep kicking it. Boom, and I throw that kick and cut the video out right there. That's a lot of times what I do. Do a little stretch here, a little bit of a hamstring stretch. I threw a lot of kicks today. Yesterday, I think I threw a lot of punches. Today, I threw a lot of kicks. I encourage you guys to like and subscribe, and definitely try some of the workout videos. You know, if you're not doing any kind of workout at all, then it could change your life if you start doing some of these workout videos. And that's really what I want to do. I like to help people. I want to help people who want to get in shape in a fun way using martial arts. Because boy, do I love martial arts. To me, it's like the most fun thing ever. You know, actual sparring is the funnest thing I think I've ever done. To me, that's the most fun thing there is, just to actually spar. So, all right, folks, hit subscribe. I will see you next time, okay? We'll probably take off the weekend. I usually don't film on the weekends, on Saturday, Sunday. It's usually just during the week. You never know, though. It might surprise you. I don't think so. I think I'll see you guys again probably on Monday, all right? See you guys.